I'm Louise Campbell. I'm 50, and I'm in Denmark, an hour away from Copenhagen. Confusing. I think the combination of my parents was they were both fairly strict. But the beauty of it was my childhood was in Denmark, which is a great place to grow up. So you have home and all its rules and regulations, but you only meet them when it's time for dinner or time for homework or time for bed. The rest of the time, children are in their own world, and particularly in the 70s, where grown-ups didn't really care where we were or what we were doing. So we were always exploring in a group and universe of our own. We were always we were gradually extending our zones from each other's gardens to the local cemetery to which garden had the best apples to steal. You know, it was one big adventure, but very local. And it's something I think actually I've taken with me into my adult life, that you don't have to cross the globe for adventure. You find it around the corner if you remember to keep your eyes open. Lego. I think the whole world understands and knows Lego, and I think Lego is the best foundation for any childhood anywhere. The complete freedom. You have a simple set of facilities, and with this, anything is possible. And like millions and millions of other kids, I grew up believing everything was doable thanks to Lego. The dual nationality, being split between two such different cultures, has meant that I've never fitted perfectly into anything. And that's somehow made it necessary to be a creative, necessary to invent my own path, my own direction, my own solutions to my own life and so many other people in a situation similar to mine. Very few of us actually fit into systems, if you think about it. We just do our best to pretend that we do. I'm afraid it's been 27 years since I last lived in London, so I'm far more fluent in Danish now. I sound fluent in English, but I don't have the variation in words. I miss it. You know, in England, when I was a child, there was a supermarket called Woolworths. I don't know if it's there anymore, but they introduced pick and mix in the sweets department. And I think that's the best picture of how I've grown up and how I've sought inspiration and who I've listened to. I've been a picker and a mixer, and I still am. It makes everything difficult, to be honest. And it means I have to start from the beginning all the time, because I am equal amounts of two extremely different things. So Nordic is minimalistic. We scrape away. We're very afraid of, I say we're afraid of, a real Dane would say too proud to show our emotions and to show too much about what's underneath the surface, where the British show all their emotions through ornament and less in words. And designing through these extremely different situations makes everything challenging. I try to find the best from both. And I think my whole design language is some strange blend of where the two meet, and they meet in very, very few places, really. I set up my studio in Copenhagen in, oh God, it's more than half a lifetime ago, 1996. And it's been in Copenhagen all the time until 6 months ago, where I left town and moved to the seaside. So I think there have been many things in my life that have indicated it would be a good idea to make some changes. And this is the best decision, apart from having a kid, I've ever made. It's not a city, it's a tiny village up at the north of Zealand, which is the island Copenhagen's on. It's only 3/4 of an hour's drive from Copenhagen, but I've stopped going unless I have to. It's brilliant. It's by the seaside. I'll turn my computer. Shall I turn my computer and show you my view? This is why I don't go anywhere. Can you see? This is my garden. Can you see it? So why should I go anywhere? I go to the forest and I go out there, and that's it. think it's a wonderful time gender-wise right now. I've been so upset with being called a feminine designer that I felt that a lot of the manufacturers I've worked for have felt a need to write, this is a feminine design, whenever something I've produced has been launched into the market. And I've always felt that they were actually excusing themselves a little bit for the strength of expression in the products. So I'm quite grateful that it's far less important anymore. And you'll see male designers working with a strong poetic expression. You'll see female designers who work in a strongly minimalist. We're free to do whatever we want right now, and it's going to be very, very valuable for the design field to let go of these categories. Oh yes, I feel that on the critical side, it's all very serious, and I can miss the humour of the rest of the world. But on a heartfelt side, the longevity of Scandinavian design is really important. The respect for materials, the lack of interest in novelty value. Because novelty value will always work against what's most important to me and to the Nordic design attitude, which is make something that will last, make something that you will have for your lifetime, but that your great-grandchildren might also enjoy. Out of respect for the product, out of respect for the environment, that attitude is very important to me. I think my life has always been very chaotic, full of surprises. And as I've grown older, as I've now taken this decision to leave town and move into the country, it's been very much to do with a need to simplify the daily routines. I start the day by swimming in the sea. I walk for at least an hour in the forests every day. I eat at surprisingly regular hours. I've made all these decisions because I've realized it helps me concentrate. It helps me focus on what I find important. And instead of looking for divine inspiration on all the digital platforms, that's where everybody else is finding it. And it becomes superficial, it becomes temporary, it becomes a feeling, a vibe. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying the pleasure of a vibe, but it's not where you should design from. I design at the pace of the seasons. I try to go slowly, at a natural pace. I try to be thorough. I try to whisper rather than shout. So digital platforms are for Netflix, for when I relax, or if I have to speak to my son on I don't know, WhatsApp or all the other strange things. I do it out of necessity. I don't use it as a work tool, not anymore. I don't think we can, it's not, I used to be obsessed with modern technologies and finding new materials, but it's not what seems important right now, not for me. I think my mantra is to live at as a natural pace as possible. Doing my best. Oh gosh, I go through as many alterations as possible. For me, this whole career choice is far less about results than it is about process. As I said in the beginning, I've become a designer to find a path that I felt I fitted into in this world, and I fit into the playful experimental process. That's where I serve a purpose, that's where I thrive. And the results are actually far less important. I wouldn't be able to justify this career if I didn't produce a result once in a while, but there are 99 experiments to a final result. So I have to enjoy the process, otherwise it seems like this would be a total waste of time. I think that depends very much on the individual producing it, and where it's been my stepping stone throughout my career until now, I'm actually trying to get rid of it, because I don't want to be this disharmonious person anymore. It's exhausting. I'm 50, I want to simplify. So I think instead of it being as much about contrast, I want it to be about delicacy and detail and attention to, I want it to be as close to hand mined as at all possible. So I think I've had my share of fun with heavy industry. I think I'm closer to the crafts-based work now. Walk the Plank is one of a number of initiatives I was part of as a younger designer. There were no jobs, and we were a bunch of people full of energy and really wanting to demonstrate that this field of design was important, basically, to justify our own career existence. And the beauty of Denmark, there are many horrible things about living in a tiny country, but one of the big advantages is everybody knows each other. And in the furniture design field in particular, we really know each other. We exhibit together, we help each other. The older advise the young keep the older on their toes. And Walk the Plank was just a strong desire from my colleague Sebastian and I to reintroduce the value of working very closely with the craftsmanship, also to show that we were prepared to do this. It's nothing to do with commercial interest or wanting to make money. It came from the heart. So and also how experimental you can be by just being given one material and a time frame and a clever craftsman. The results were incredibly varied because we were representatives of all ages of the furniture design field, because we had so many different attitudes and because the craftsmen did their very, very best. Yes, I do. And I live by rules. Hang on a second. I've admitted to a couple of rules. I've admitted to advising people to dare to be different, because when I was a kid, it was embarrassing to be different. And what a waste of time that was. And also I start from scratch, and I have people very close to me who say, why? Your life could be so much easier. You know the shortcut, but you're always going the Japanese way. But it's the way I am, and it makes everything far more interesting, and it gives you a far greater chance of discovering something original underway. So start by scratch. Oh God, it was awful. Actually, it was a nightmare. I'm not going to share it with you, but I will tell you that my frequent dream is that I'm traveling and I can't pack in time. It's probably a classic, but I'm very, very busy in my dreams. I'm the white rabbit in Alice in Wonderland, always. I wake up exhausted. I swear a lot. I'm Nordic. Light means everything. We're practically dead 6 months of a year in Denmark. And 2 days ago, on May the 5th, the light nights started, as we call it, from May the 5th to August the 8th. It never gets completely dark. And I'm getting goosebumps proving it, just talking about it to you, because it means everything. It means our lives are quite extreme in the north. So we practically hibernate, and then we become the most energetic people on the planet for this short period of time. And it's just started, and I'm roaring to go. There are a lot of spaces for lying down. A lot of spaces for lying down. I think either in my life, myself and people around me, we're either up and about, busy doing stuff, or we're lying down. Oh God. Rice. Anything with rice. Oh gosh. The surface of the sea. I'm an obsessive gardener. I never have enough time, so I learn to enjoy the wilderness of my garden. And I used to do a lot of embroidery and handicrafts, and basically I'm always fiddling with something. Outdoor. A middle-aged cow in the waterfront. I want to go. I haven't been anywhere for more than a year. I mean, I need to visit my family in London, but I urge to go to France and eat cheese and drink wine. Morris Minor convertible when I was 21. I still have it, but I haven't driven it for 27 years. It's in a museum waiting for some reason to take it out. Honestly, I think I've slowed down a lot over the past 10 years because I was suffering from serious design fatigue, like a lot of us. And I think it was a necessary break. And I can actually feel now, I think it's got a lot to do with the move away from the city, that I'm finding, I've rediscovered this strong joy of working, but in my own way. I've needed to get rid of all the external vibes and just accept that it can be done differently. The design doesn't have to mean long haul travel and meetings in all sorts of places of the world or trade fairs, or it can be done differently, working with local craftsmen at a natural pace. Both. Wood and metal. Both. 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 Okay, mainly analog. Both. Neither. White wine. I would like to propose that we switched off all the industrial buttons for 10 years and gave everybody managing the buttons hand tools for 10 years just to see what happened. And then we could restart if it felt right. I'd like to do that.